What's up, everybody? Welcome back for another update with us. Let's get things started. What is up, everybody? Welcome back here to Puerto Vallarta, where it is sunny and warm. Well, not really sunny today, but it is warm. I can say we did not have snow here, which I'm sure many of you have already had back there in the States. Can't say I miss that. Anyways, we've had another solid month here in Puerto Vallarta. So so many things happening going on downtown at our center, back at our house churches, trying to start up our new outdoor ministry. So many great things that are happening here. But I just want to share a story with you guys about taking our neighbor's son out for the first time, stand-up paddleboarding, and just his experience and how much he loved it. So we took off early on a Saturday morning, got all our gear loaded up, and headed up to a place called La Cruz, which is just north of here in Vallarta, where typically the waters are much calmer. But as soon as we got up there and I was able to give him some pointer tips about how to stand up paddleboard, we headed out in the water when it was fairly calm. By the time we made our way back, man, that wind had picked up and it was choppy water, and it was just hard work headed back through the waves and through the wind all the way back to the beach where we started. But he really enjoyed his time out there on the water. For him, he said it came a little bit easier since he did some skateboarding when he grew up. So even though it was his first time out in the water, he was able to kind of hone in those previous skateboarding balancing skills, I guess you could say, to improve his stand-up paddleboarding skills. So we were able to just have some great conversations out there on the car ride and out on the water. Just a great environment for conversations to take place. We were able to talk about life, talk about Christ, talk about what we believe in and what we're doing here in Mexico. Just so many great opportunities for us to just share Christ's love with Julian. So as of right now, we only have the 2 paddle boards, but we're looking to get 2 more. That way we can take more people out in the water and enjoy more of God's creation. But this story just goes to show of why we want to do this kind of ministry here. It's such a great opportunity for us to take people out of their everyday environment and put them in God's creation and in God's environment for some Christ-centered conversations to happen. And it's such an amazing place to have those conversations. It's so hard to have deeper conversations when you're surrounded by the noise and surrounded by the city. And it's so much easier when we're in the still quietness of God's amazing creation. We simply talk about things that pertain to God. So as I was saying, we are still needing to raise the funds for 2 more paddle boards, and this, like I was saying, will allow us to take a bigger group of people out at once out in the ocean for better conversations with a group of people. So for us, taking people out in the water is not only a great place for conversations, but it's a great place for us to show people this God's amazing creation, just how majestic He is and how much He loves them. The same God who created this amazing place here in this part of the world, the same God who loves them deeply with all His heart. So we would love to have these funds raised by the end of December for us to allow us to finally start this ministry and take off to see how God can use us here in Mexico. So if you'd love to help us reach the rest of this fundraising for this ministry, we still need to raise, I believe, $2,700 to finish this off. The links are below this video. We'd love to have you sign up and help us get there. But for now, that's all I have for you guys right now, and I'll pass you guys over to my wife, Sarah.
So I just wanted to share a quick story about my new friend that I met in yoga. So this past month, I have seen God work in so many different ways, between meeting our neighbors, between yoga classes, between making connections around the community center. It's just incredible seeing God work, and it's just like boom, 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 boom. It was all the things that we're praying, and it felt like we were pushing and pushing and pushing and trying different ways to meet people in October. And then here's November, and we've seen God show up time and time again. And I don't know why God keeps blowing my mind, but I think that's wonderful because God will always indefinitely blow my mind for how He works. What's that verse? He's able to do far more than we ever could hope or imagine, and I have seen that to be true this month. So one of those things is I started taking yoga, mainly to help my back, but also to meet people, use it as an outlet. And so I met a girl named Sarah. We're about the same age. She's an American, but she grew up in Puerto Vallarta since her parents have been working here in Puerto Vallarta for forever, it seems like. But really, so her and I went out to breakfast one time, and then she found a stray dog, and I actually knew the owners of that stray dog, which is funny because I've only been here for a few months. So I went with her to go return the dog and introduce her to the owners. But yeah, it was fun getting to know her and hanging out with her outside of yoga class, and I'm not flexible, so I always just make all these funny faces at her whenever we're in class. But yeah, so I was able to share my testimony with Sarah, and during our conversation we just got on the conversation about relationships, young 20-something girls always do, and so I was just able to hear about her point of view of what a relationship is. And it feels like she's in a part of her life where she's not sure if she wants to be in a monogamous relationship. And so I just sort of got to share about God's plan for people in relationships and what that looks like between man and woman, and just how God showed up time and time again in my dating with Ethan, and all the way up to engagement and marriage, and our wedding, and then marriage, and hard seasons and good seasons. So just sort of sharing like how God was present through all of it, and just really able to hear where she's coming from, just her mindset behind deciding if a monogamous relationship is something that she wants to do in the future. So yeah, so it's just some of those interesting conversations where I'm able to speak truth and just say, hey, like this is God's plan, like this, it's still relevant today as it was yesterday. And I've definitely heard different conversations from people my own age. I'm 25, but people my own age about how a lot of the rules of God, like a lot of God's, not rules per se, but a lot of his like commands for us and his mandamientos. I can only think of Spanish words, so that's why I'm spacing. But anyways, like it's sort of like outdated or it's old school, but I'm thankful that I have the opportunity to speak truth into someone's life my own age, and just tell them like, hey, I'm the same age. We very similar backgrounds. Like this is how God still applies. Like God is still relevant today. And so it's just really cool being able to have the opportunity to talk with her, and we're gonna go hiking sometime. I don't know, just hang out and be friends and be with each other. But yeah, that was just one example of the millions of ways I've seen God show up, between making connections with those more around our community center and our neighbors below us, as well as the people in the papeleria and some of the other stores around us, just making more connections, and then our neighbors in Arcoto, just meeting more people. And so I don't know, it just was a great month, and I have so many more stories, but I just really wanted to share about my friend Sarah, who I met in yoga, and how just the opportunities that I had to share and speak life into her. So seed planting, poco a poco, little by little, but God's still working, and I'm still thankful that God shows up and blows my mind. But yeah, I'm gonna be typing in some things to be praying about for this next month, and let's pray expectantly, and let's have our minds blown about what God is gonna do in December. But yeah, thanks for sitting on the roof with me, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time.